catch up with the thoughts in your mind. They're everywhere, and it's hard for me to bear. 'Cause I get so lost, feel just like a boomerang. 'Cause you change your plans every day, and you don't seem to care what I think or how it affects me. Since I lay my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you're low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know when gets tough. Do you feel the way I do, my baby? Do you see me like I see you, my lady? I love you, but I don't need you. I only want true love, true love. My sentences when I don't know what I'm about to say, but that's what I like. We're just like yin and yang, but sometimes I wish you would hear me out and listen to what's on my mind. Yeah, yeah. Since I lay my eyes on you, my baby, I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you're low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know when gets tough. Do you feel the way I do, my baby? Do you see me like I see you, my lady? I love you, but I don't need you. I only want true love, true love.
2, 1. What's going on, guys? I mean, I've been gone for a couple of weeks, Sean. You already know how it is when you take a little bit of a break, and it boggles the mind. Your timing is off and things like that. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Generation Orange. I'm your host, Mark Segovia, alongside my co-host Sean Ringrose. What's up, Sean?
What's up? It's been a while, Mark. It's been too long.
I know, man. It's been tough couple of weeks.
I'm seeing somebody special down here.
Yeah. I want to get to the person below us right here in a sec after you tell us how you think you're going, Sean. But this lady down beneath us, if you recognize her, you probably saw her about a month ago now in East Downtown, unveiling the new Hector Herrera mural that was over there East Downtown. Liz, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy that you guys invited me onto the podcast.
No, for sure, man. We're glad to have you on, and honestly, I know we've been talking back and forth for the last couple of weeks. I know I reached out to you a couple of weeks back, but you were out there traveling the world, man. So tell us what you've been up to a little bit.
Yeah, so literally right after the mural, I actually had to postpone my Peru trip, but I still ended up going. So literally right after the mural, I flew to Colombia, and then I went to Brazil, and then Peru, and then I came back, and then I went to Austin, and now I'm finally back home.
man, yeah. Can you take me with you next time? I mean, Colombia, Peru, Brazil. Jesus. Hey, if anybody deserves a vacation, you do. That's a beautiful mural. You can see it on the stream, guys. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys have went to the event live, and it was just beautiful, man. A nice mural. I know everybody had fun out there. Everybody I spoke to about it had a great time. I know they had food and all that great stuff. So tell us, man, how did the Dynamo, contact you about this, or how did the connection come about?
So initially I got an email, and I was like, I immediately sent the screenshot to my brother because he loves the Dynamo. He goes to every single weekend. I just know where he's at.
Shout out to your brother.
Yeah. And I was like, I can't believe it. And I put 2 and 2 together because I used to go to church with the Houston Dynamo photographer, Brian Salas.
Okay.
And he's the one who plugged my name in because he follows me on Instagram. We hadn't talked in over 10 years. So I was like, what the heck? You just referred me to them. Thank you so much. So that's how the Houston Dynamo found me.
Man, that's awesome. You must have a really great impression to Brian if he was able to make that recommendation to you, to the Dynamo. So, man, but yeah, man, it was dope. So, what, how does that come about? The Dynamo contact you and they tell you what?
So there was so they made a billboard that says bring the heat. And then obviously they sent me a few pictures of Hector, and they told me we want you to design something that has to do with this theme, bring the heat, something that has to do with Mexico and Houston. So that's why you see those elements like the calavera, the little spaceship is obviously Houston, and the flowers are the national flower of Mexico. So I had to bring all those elements together, and then the background are just my favorite colors.
Okay.
So it was just a lot of designs back and forth and really short turnaround. So I literally had 7 days to complete that.
Nice. And I think I read somewhere that was your first mural doing spray paint.
Yes.
How was that?
That was a risk that I was taking because I did not have the time to be if I mess up, I have to do it again. No, I was well, I'm gonna have to figure it out. So
oh man, you figured it out.
I used this spray paint on the letters. Those letters were really hard to do, really hard to do. Just because of it goes from yellow to dark. It has different shades, but I did it. And it looks exactly like the digital rendering, of the billboard. So worked out.
And it looks amazing. Obviously a lot of the people here on the chat are shouting you out. A lot of people were there live to see it unveiled, and man, they loved it. And it's I mean, I don't know if you've been on social media a lot or whatever, but I mean, if you follow any of the Dynamo fans or if you see any of the Dynamo Twitter online, you know, everybody taking pictures with your mural in the background and stuff like that. I mean, it must be such joy and pride to see something like that.
Yeah. So I had never had, you know, like a mural unveiling. So, you know, I'm not the kind of person who likes the spotlight, but that was a lot of fun. And I really appreciate, you know, everyone tagging me, everyone, like, I got a whole bunch of messages and like comments and people telling me like, you did such a great job. Like, I love it. So it was an honor to paint him. And I'm really glad, you know, that the fans really liked the mural too.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically gonna go down in Dynamo history because I mean, Hector Herrera being our biggest signing, and then, you know, obviously you being the artist doing, you know, that mural. You're kind of twine. So that's a good thing. That's a good way to look at it, I guess. You know, if you look at it from that perspective.
Definitely.
So, but you know, you mentioned that your brother goes to Dynamo games. How about yourself? Do you go to any Dynamo games?
Not as much as he does. He literally goes there every single weekend.
He used to come out to the supporter group, come and hang out with us.
You should.
Yeah.
And I've been to a few of their soccer games, and it's always fun. You know, it's fun hanging out with your friends and like cheering on. So it's always a good time, you know, having a few drinks and then just seeing the game. So I always have a good time.
That's good. That's good. Maybe we need to get you out there a little bit more. You know, I know you might be a little bit more busier now than before. So, you know, but maybe we can get you out there again, you know, and for sure, man, maybe we need to get your brother's contact so we can get him out there to the Supporters Shield supporter group, you know, and you know, come hang out with us. Sean, anything you want to ask? You know?
No, I came in expecting to let you run, man.
Okay, man. Look, I got questions, and I know you got answers, Liz. So I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep asking away. You know, so I mean, obviously, you know, with the big exposure after the Hector Herrera mural, what are you working on currently?
So literally, I just completed a project for TikTok. So
nice.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was another big project that came out of nowhere. So that's what I just completed. And right now I'm just trying to rest as much as I can, just because, you know, I was out of the country. But right now what's in the works is, you know, I met a whole bunch of people from the Frito-Lay company, the Frito-Lay marketing employees. That's why I was in Austin. And, you know, it's just in the works, you know, if they want a mural in their office. So it's just always stuff in the works, you know. That's just the life of an artist. Like sometimes projects come up like out of nowhere, or sometimes you just go back and forth. But yeah,
I think you're going to get more projects come out of nowhere more often now. I mean, you know, and like you said, like, you know, obviously with the Dynamo thing, and then obviously now with the TikTok Frito-Lay Cheeto thing that I saw, it's a good look. I mean, you're out there.
Yeah. Definitely. And just, you know, these two projects, the Hector Herrera mural happened right after I went to Belize with Donkey Boy, because he took me to Belize to go paint my first international mural.
Nice.
And right after that is when I got the Dynamo project. So I just feel like all these things lined up just means that I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be. Because I had mentioned to you that I used to be a teacher, but I just feel like this is the path that I'm supposed to be.
I mean, look, the world always needs teachers, but the world needs artists, you know, and we're glad that we have you around, especially you being local. You know, obviously we love to support the local talent and the city, you know, always H-Town hold it down, you know, and then we're glad that Dynamo reached out to somebody locally, you know, to do something special like that. And it's just great. And it brings a lot of joy to me as a Houstonian myself, you know, because, you know, I think we always seen that, you know, if you're from Houston, Houston's going to hold you down. Houston's going to have your back, you know, and that's always great to see from your city, all that love and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, a couple rapid questions. You know, I know I didn't prepare you for this, but I just wanted to get you off your toes a little bit. See, see what you answer, see how your mind goes real quick.
Man.
So just some rapid, you know, I'm gonna ask you two things. You know, you pick one, and that's if you want to explain why you picked that, cool. If you don't, we go on to the next one. All right.
Okay.
So,
oh man.
It's all right. Don't worry. Hey, guys, keep the hate on the low, or cheer her on. You know, something whatever. But first question, obviously, In-N-Out or Whataburger?
Whataburger.
There you go. I don't think
that's
come on, you're throwing the pitch right down the middle of the plate, bro.
I'm just making sure, man, because You know, sometimes, you know, we get outside of the house, outside the home, you know, we start going different places.
I mean, to be fair, it's not a Texas company anymore.
I know. We're not going to mention that, though. Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's?
Raising Cane's.
Okay. All right. This one might hit a little bit closer to the heart. Gorditas o pupusas?
Oh, pupusas.
There you go.
You know, I'm Salvadorian.
What's your favorite kind of pupusa, if you don't mind me asking?
Revueltas.
Man, I need a plate of those right now.
Yeah.
Like ASAP.
Mark, I would guess you came up with these questions while you were hungry, because every one of them's been about food.
Yeah, I finished the food portion of it. I'm moving on.
I was like, wow, it's a lot of food questions, bro.
Hey, man, the world needs to eat. Chalk or crayon?
Did you say chalk?
Yeah, chalk or crayon?
Definitely chalk.
Any reason why? I mean, I've seen the pictures out there. I've seen the you know, the Bad Bunny mural. I've seen there's the Lizzo one you did on chalk as well.
Yeah, all of those are chalk.
We got a few of them rotating down here somewhere on the stream.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and she'll share her social medias and stuff like that, guys, so you can check all her workout and all that stuff.
Can I just say, the bird one that's currently up there is actually one of my favorite ones. I love the feather texture on that. That was so well done.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Last question. This is the most important one. All right.
Okay.
Sean or Mark? No, just kidding.
No.
I did just compliment your bird. I'm just saying.
No, Liz, but you know, obviously, you know, man, thank you for coming on. You know, please share your socials. You know, tell the people what you got going on. Let them know about your website and how they can support you, and then if contact you for a project. Maybe they work at a company that needs some kind of project. You never know. So let the people know what you got.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at liz.arts with three Z's, LIZZZ.arts. And then my website is artwithliz.com, and you can find my email on there, and you can see more of my work. And you also can buy some stickers, Bad Bunny stickers, prints. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Oh, we got a lot of Bad Bunny lovers out there. So get them stickers, man. Them stickers and that chalk mural is fire. So
Thank you.
Liz, like I said, thank you so much for showing out and representing Houston the way you did with that mural, and obviously with everything that you got going on. And thank you for coming on to the show, man. And hopefully it's not the last time we hear from you. You know, obviously I'm gonna keep in touch, and we're gonna, you know, keep things connected. But you know, much success in future endeavors. You know, and you know, we can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining, Liz. Definitely appreciate it.
Alrighty, bye.
Man, you know, Sean, sometimes, you know, it's good to start the show like that, because, you know, obviously this past week was a little bit of a bad week for us Dynamo fans, and we'll get to that later on. But man, like before we move on, you know, shout out to Liz, you know, for coming on the show. You know, please follow her on Twitter, follow her TikToks, you know, support her. She's a local artist, you know, and things like that. And her website, I think we'll post it on our Twitter, and we'll post all her handles on our Twitter page here pretty soon.
They were up on the stream for the entire time, so everybody saw them.
Great. So, you know, there you go.
If you haven't hit it up yet, what are you doing waiting? Come on.
You have no reason not to.
C. Sanford said he followed.
There you go, C. Sanford.
Spike Jones said he followed.
Mike Jones.
Spike Jones. Bro.
Spike Jones. Julio, what's up, Julio? But,
dude, if Mike Jones came in our chat.
Hey, Mike Jones might come up in here trying to get a mural himself, you know?
Hey, not wrong.
Hey, and I know Julio likes Bad Bunny. So, you know, it's all a connection there for sure. But before we get to all the negativity that is the Dynamo, and I know we had a big bomb dropped on us here before the show started, and we're going to get to that as soon as we can. But let's keep the positivity going, and obviously talk about Rachel Daly, England winning the Euros.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations to our queen, RD3, holding it down across the pond, winning in her home stadium of Wembley.
Beating Germany.
2-1 against
Germany. I mean, that's huge.
And I heard on the telecast that Germany had the women's side of Germany has never lost a final in any major tournament prior to that, and that's just amazing. It's an amazing feat. Yep. England's first international trophy since the 1966 World Cup, where the men famously won that one. So it's a big feat, and to have our own Rachel Daly on that squad. Crazy, it's amazing to see, obviously that is such a big nation like that obviously respects the player and the talent that we have over here in WSL to keep calling Rachel, because I think Rachel has over 50 caps already with England, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man, shout out to her. Another medal for her to go along with that Challenge Cup that she won with the Dash. And then the future one here, hopefully once the Dash make the playoffs and make that run towards that NWSL trophy here pretty soon. But speaking of the Dash, Sean, man, the Dash, they're showing out. Dynamo who? This is who we need to be is who we need to be focusing on, because these ladies are solidifying their playoff positioning, and they're solidifying their ticket to their first ever playoffs, and I'm excited for them. Obviously with Juan Carlos coming into the fold, Ebony Solomon just solidifying that forward spot when we lose so many players for international duty. 4 goals in 2 games, I think it is, or 3 games. I'm not sure how many games she's played with us now, but 3 games. Amazing.
No, she was an outstanding acquisition via trade.
Yeah, she was.
And it was a position of need, especially with international players out. What's funny is I think if it was given, if the same opportunity arose, but it was not, we didn't have international players leaving on international duty or already out on international duty, I don't know if they would be as quick to pull the trigger on that trade. But with our internationals out, her filling the exact position that we needed, and honestly her desire to get out of KC, I mean, just everything lined up, and she has just been showing out. I feel like honestly Juan Carlos has kind of unlocked a little bit of something in her, and I'm hoping that he can turn her into a consistent forward. But man, I mean, just the riches of talent that this Dash team have right now is absurd. Definitely one of the best in the NWSL right now, for sure.
Yeah, man. And it's and it just goes to show, like, when you have a coach who's been there, done that, what can happen? I know sometimes, you got to give opportunity. Coaches that are rookies at some point in their careers and stuff like that. But man, Juan Carlos came in here and he grabbed this team and he's not letting go. Sarah did a great job, obviously in the interim basis, and she's still on the staff and she's still doing an amazing job with the ladies. And, I'm just so happy to see this team, fulfilling, especially, and look, and this is during a time where Prince was out for international duty. Maria Sanchez was out because of international duty. Rachel Daly is still out. When she comes back, she might not play until probably September, or late August. She gets to get her rest in as well. So we're doing all this. We're literally, our best players, not on the squad at the moment. But that's just next woman up, next woman up. They're taking the bull by the horns, and they're taking every opportunity of their advantage, because a lot of these players, like I said, they might be on the bench, they might be bench players when everybody's there, but they're taking full advantage of their situation, and they're making it happen for themselves. And I'm so happy to see the ladies out here getting results, getting points and wins, and not just wins at home, but wins on the road. They beat down Gotham City 4-2. It was a great game to watch. Shout out to, like I said, all the ladies, Shea Groom, Solomon, who scored the penalty at the end, and I can't remember the other goals at the moment right now. But Sophie Schmidt, what a goal! What a goal that she scored. I mean, that has to be goal of the week for NWSL. So.
Hope you're not expecting me to add anything else. You covered everything.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, I'm trying to keep the positive vibes rolling as much as we can before we get to the.
I'm just waiting. I'm primed and ready.
I know. But I mean,
I had 3 weeks to sit on this.
I mean, look, man. We had such a great. I was so happy that we had Liz on. At the show because we talked about it. We've been trying to get her on for the last couple of weeks. We were trying to get her on right after she did the mural, but like she said, she had a lot of traveling to do, whatever. So it was great to finally have her on. And obviously with the Dash and what they're doing, it's exciting to see. And then obviously Rachel Daly, my queen. Her go over there picking up a medal in the Euros. It's exciting, but man, when you're having a good time, there's always somebody that comes and messes it up, man. And mess it up they did. But yeah. So the last game for those who didn't see it or didn't see it all the way through, and I don't blame you if you didn't, but I'm sure you've seen the results somewhere on your ESPN page or Yahoo Sports page or MLS.com, whatever notifications you get to keep you updated with the Dynamo. I'm sure that you saw the Philadelphia Union, not the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Union put 6 points on your Houston Dynamo. 3 goals in the first half, 3 goals in the second half. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't ugly because I can deal with ugly. It was horrible. It was horrific. Can there be any lower, Sean? I mean, damn.
Sure. Absolutely, 100%.
Yes. I'm sure we can lose 10-0 to Vancouver, but damn, man, it's just. Damn.
I mean, look, we still have to go play LA Galaxy this in LA to close out the season. Or no, I think we play here to close out the season. But I think LAFC we have another match against LAFC, and that one scares the living hell out of me.
Have you seen the players they have acquired?
Just Jesus. Every day, it's a new, like every week, it's a new rumor, and then it gets confirmed and gets done. I mean,
I have a theory, Sean. I have a theory.
I'm waiting.
I think that the Dynamo are lying to us about these spots and allocation and GAM and stuff like that because I don't understand. Or Matt Jordan, did Matt Jordan really screw us that hard that you see a team like LAFC, not just LAFC, Frisco, Toronto. No, I mean, just every team is able to make DC United.
Look, Frisco just traded. Hold up. Here, I'm gonna outline every frustration I have in one example. Just one example. Frisco traded for Sebastian Lletget, 500,000 allocation, potentially up to 750, 1.3, something like that. Doesn't even matter what the potential is. Traded for him. We traded 650 of this year's allocation and like 500 something thousand allocation from last season to get Corey Bird.
Oh my God.
I mean, what are we doing? And look, I can't even blame Pat Onstad because that happened before his tenure. I can't blame Pat Onstad because players like Thiago were before his tenure. I can't blame Pat Onstad for players like, and hear me out when I say this, Tim Parker, because Tim Parker was here before Pat Onstad got here. I can't blame Pat Onstad for Hadabi because guess what? Hadabi was here before Pat Onstad got here. I can't blame Pat Onstad for other players like a Darwin Quintero or a Memo Rodriguez or even Tyler Pasher, or the list goes on, or Fafa Pico even. The fact is, yes, Pat has been saddled with a lot of heavy contracts that were overpaid players that aren't putting out what they're worth or what their value was that we paid for them. And then because of the way that Matt Jordan worked, he was willing to sacrifice every bit of this season in terms of
So
Thiago was a Pat signing, but Thiago is already being looked at, and Pat won't say this, but Thiago is already being scouted by the team before Pat got in. The scouts told Pat that Thiago was ready. He took them at their word, and that is what happened.
So
clarify.
We're being haunted by the ghost of Jordan past.
Yes, exactly. 100% yes. 100. I mean, and hear me out. Jordan sacrificed this season's allocation in large quantities in order to secure the players that he secured, and those players were shit.
They are. They're shit.
Sugarcoating it anymore.
No. I mean, and it's crazy because you see the players being moved within the league, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And
you see the
like,
signings that are happening right now coming in from outside of the league, and the quality and talent of these players. Ricky Puig from Barca to LAFC,
dude.
Gareth Bale to LAFC,
to Galaxy.
Galaxy. Yeah, he went to Galaxy. Sorry,
but oh my god,
Chiellini to LAFC. I mean, the list goes on and on right now, and that's like the tip of the iceberg level. I mean, we're talking Vancouver's got players coming in, Toronto's got players coming in, Frisco got players coming in.
I just saw that DC United is linked to Christian Benteke. It probably just a rumor still, but still, it's like,
hey, but we signed Nelson Quinones. He's going to save our season. We're linked with Cardona. That's a great grab if I've ever seen one. I mean, now again, credit to Pat, right? Players have to want to come here. And yes, and I know I was all about the Hector Herrera signing, and I still am. I think that ultimately will change.
Look, before you keep going, Sean, if whoever's out there blaming Hector Herrera, I saw the Football America podcast, whatever that dude,
oh my God, like Hercules Gomez can suck on it. You know what?
You gotta slow down with that, man. You gotta slow down with that because
it's been here a month.
Yeah, exactly. And like we mentioned in prior shows, Hector Herrera doesn't play a position where he automatically affects the offense of this team. You can see where he's trying to get the crew organized and make sure that people are in their places, but he can only do so much with the talent that's around him. And for them to go off the way like that, like, oh, you're a DP signing, this and that, like blah blah blah, like, dude. If Hector Herrera was a center forward, then yes, I would understand if he wasn't scoring any goals and you brought him in and he was a world-class striker and XYZ, but he's not. We like the I don't want to say the smart Dynamo fans, but for the ones that know and understand Hector Herrera's game and the position he plays in football, we understand that he wasn't going to be that. He was just going to be a cornerstone player for us for going forward. He was the marquee signing of this new ownership group to let us know as a fan base that they're serious about changing this shit. That's it. Go on, Sean. Go. What were you gonna say? I know. Probably ramble up.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, there's a few things I want to dissect here. You know me. I've got to dissect it down to the constituent parts. We've got to figure out what is the actual core problem. It's not just the fact that these players suck. I mean, to be fair, some of these players have real talent. Some of these players on another team would be absolutely balling out right now. I'm not saying every player. I'm not even saying there's more than 5 to 8 of them that would be. But there are players that would be starters or at least very likely into the starting lineup for most MLS teams. There are some exclusions to that. Your very top echelon teams probably may be a little bit harder to break into, but there are still players on this team that should be playing significantly better than they are. Our biggest struggle is the fact that we've got, and I've heard this time and again, you got to give more time. I'm done with that so much past that. Look, he's had 6 months. We're in August. It's not like we're in, March or April or May. We're in August. He has had enough time to implement his system, his tactics, his approach. You can't tell me that these players haven't bought in. We've seen the same damn tactical approach week in and week out. We've seen players playing it. We've seen players adopting it. We've seen everybody going for it to an extent. It's only been in the last month or so that they've really lost that focus, that drive, that motivation, that determination to be the best team in the league. To me, that screams of a coach who's lost the locker room. That screams to me a coach that, for whatever reason, is not getting the most out of the players that he has. My frustration realistically stems from the fact that this team should be playing better than they are. I'm not saying they wouldn't have lost to Philly. I fully anticipated the loss to Philly. I was already saying it was going to be a loss. I was shocked it was a 6-0 loss. I was thinking like 3-0, but I was prepared for a pretty bad beating, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Where I get frustrated is I look back at the matches that we've lost against teams that we should not have lost to. Chicago. There's no reason we should have lost to Chicago Fire. And there are others throughout the season, but that's just the one that comes to mind, comes like to front of mind. And agreed, Kyle. I'm impressed at how bad we've been. That takes a lot of effort to be that bad. But my point is, I have concerns, and listen, we've talked about it in the Surge Discord literally for days, and I've had the same stance for weeks now, before we even went to our little temporary break where we beat Chicago. It was some other team. Sorry, it's been weeks, and I've tended to black out most of the frustration. Yeah. I can't, because I'm just so frustrated, and I've been frustrated. But Charlotte, thank you. Charlotte was the one. I actually...
No, it was San Jose.
San Jose, I think, well, we lost to Charlotte, too.
Yes, so we lost to Charlotte.
Hi, Bella. Both of them. Anyways, so getting back to the point, though, the fact is we've lost to teams we shouldn't have lost to. I expected that to some extent this season, because inconsistency with a new coach is always going to be the case. I get inconsistency. What happened on Saturday was not inconsistency. What happened on Saturday was a team that flat out didn't give a damn on the pitch. Just being completely honest, being realistic. And I understand that we're not going to push for playoffs. Kenny has been preaching this for a while. We were never realistically really in that picture. It was going to take some drastic miracle. It was going to, not miracle, but some drastic change of fortune, whatever it is. Everything has not gone our way. Period. End of story. And I've been really on this. I feel like holding on to Nagamura as a coach is just pandering to the fact that he's a new coach coming from a USL club, effectively. SKC2 at the time was a USL club. Mm-hmm. My problem is, though, I don't really care where he's from or what system he's been with or what his struggles and frustrations are or why he's not performing. If I went into my job after 8 months on the job, or if you want to go 7-6 months, however long you want to go, if I went into my job after 8 months on the job and I was as terrible at my job as Paolo's been, and I did not show any improvement in the last 8 months, yes, the team has improved, but coaching-wise, he has not improved. If I went into my job and I had a performance review where I was told, you're sucking ass, time to improve, and I still didn't improve, guess what? I'm out the damn door. This idea that he needs more time because the talent that he's got is not good enough is horseshit. A good coach would get at least a little more out of this team. A coach with a pedigree would get the respect of these players to get more out of these players. HH coming in should have been a defining moment for this team and this club, and it is a defining moment for the club, but the team and players around HH have decided they don't give a damn. That comes back to the Nagamura issue at hand.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, a 6-0
I'll answer that in a second, Julio. Go ahead.
A 6-0 loss is hard to swallow. Even though we look, Philadelphia, to be honest, is a dark is obviously we talk about Toronto and LAFC because of the star power they have, and those guys probably colliding for MLS Cup. But I wouldn't be surprised if Philadelphia, the club that
they got to be in the mix. They won the East last year, didn't they?
No, I think it was they won the Supporters Shield. Yeah, you're right. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year, Philadelphia are lifting up that MLS Cup. It would not surprise me at all. But regardless, 6-0, that's demoralizing, man. That's you don't have respect for yourself. It's one of those things where and big teams go through it around the world. I mean, you can name any big team in the world and they've gotten their ass beaten like that, But there has to be a reason for it. There has to be something that comes out of it. Because
let me ask this question. Hold up. That brings up a really good point. And again, Julio, we'll get to your question. Let me ask this question though, Mark.
Go ahead.
If Arsenal lost 6-0 to, and I'm not even going to use Tottenham, 6-0, they lost 6-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like heads are ringing. There's going to be some firing.
Manager is gone.
There's
not even a question.
Yeah, like I said, it all depends. If Arsenal was in the same boat as the Dynamo right now, and look, the month of July,
mean, Arsenal's not in that boat, to be clear. But I'm using it because I know your emotional connection.
I know. But if Arsenal had a month like the Dynamo did this past July, where they lost 4 games and they only managed to win 1 game at home, no, they didn't even win at home. They won at San Jose, I think it was, and they tied their Clásico against Frisco. If they had a poor month like that, and then to cap it off, they lost 6-0 to whatever team. Yeah, somebody's getting fired. Somebody, and damn sure ain't gonna be Pat, obviously, right now. But but Nagamura, I mean, it's frustrating to see him keep going the same lineup, and I'm just thinking, he threw Sebas in there this time because I guess it's one of those things where, like, okay, fine, I'm tired of listening to people telling me that, why am I not playing my DP9? Like, dude, like you don't give, you're not giving inspiration. A coach is supposed to inspire, supposed to motivate the players. It's not just about tactics and formations and stuff like that. You got to have that extra secret sauce to where players want to play for you. They want to run through a wall for you.
Let me ask you a question. If
Pep, and they don't,
the smartest coaches in the world could if they did not have the charisma to lead the team, it wouldn't matter you could be the smartest guy in the room, but if you don't have the charisma to lead the team and lead your players and get the respect of your players, it doesn't matter how smart you are. You're not going to be a great coach. And I feel like that's where we are with Paulo. He thinks he is smarter than everyone else, and he thinks he knows better than everyone else. And the players are looking at it going, you don't know jack shit. I feel like that's how the players feel right now. I genuinely feel that way.
And honestly, I don't think you'll be too far off from it. I mean, like, you look at all the great coaches of right now. All those coaches, it's not just about coach. It's about psychology of the player.
Yeah.
Getting to understand that player, getting to understand their motives and what drives them. Because each player is different. You have 26 different players on the squad, plus players that are coming in and out from the B squad, right? You have to understand each and every one of their desires and ambitions and why they do what they do. That's just basic level coaching, to be honest.
Julio, I have not seen a single episode of Ted Lasso, and I will admit that right now, just so I can prove your point wrong.
Nah, man, because look, Pep, we could talk. Hey, Julio is a huge Juventus fan, right? I'm sure Algeri's out there having good conversations and knows and understands, his players, what drives them, what motivates them, how to make them better, how to put them in the best position to succeed on the pitch. But Nagamura doesn't. He doesn't. Like, and if he does, I'm not seeing it, And if I'm not seeing it and he's trying it, that means the players have lost faith in him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Paulo has shown regression, not progression. Why kick the can down the road? That's exactly what I've been saying now for the last few weeks.
Yes.
Is the longer, okay, let's say, just for the sake of saying, that we go with the idea that, well, Paulo will improve. He's got to improve. He's got the possibility to improve. Or we go with the mentality that the players weren't good enough. The talent wasn't good enough. Let's get him the talent and then judge him. You've just wasted another full year of Hector Herrera's time with the club, with the team. Is that something that you are willing as a club, as a GM, as an owner to commit to? I have to believe that Hector Herrera, even though he publicly stated, I back this coach is the reason why I came here. The truth is, behind them closed doors, I guarantee you he is not bought in on Nagamura right now.
Look, I mean, you have to say the politically correct things, obviously in front of camera. Otherwise, they think that the whole team is suffering and there's a whole breakdown and the ship is sinking, Titanic is sinking, right? But I agree with you. I mean, look, the same way it was easy for him to go on Glenn's show and say, look, I messed up with the signing of Thiago. I didn't do my due diligence. I went with what the scouts were telling me, but I didn't go through every aspect of what I go through before I go and sign a player. I delegated trust, and obviously I wasn't rewarded for that trust. Great. Hey, look, as a fan, I respect the fact that he admitted that he was wrong and that signing was a bad signing, right? Am I expecting him to throw his coach under the bus? No, I'm not expecting that. That's unprofessional and just under certain stances, whatever, and all that. But in the same way, like you're saying, behind closed doors, I feel personally that yeah, Pat's is to a point where, man, you know, I don't know if this is gonna be the guy, you know. Now, if Pat and Ted understood that this was gonna be one of those seasons where, like, because there's so much of the team still on the squad from last couple of seasons that have been dealing with all this losing, and that this was just going to be one of those seasons. And if somehow miraculously they made a playoff run, that'd be great. But if realistically they know that this season was going to suck, and this is the Dave Cully equivalent of coach for the Dynamo, then cool. I understand that. You're going to hire a cheap coach, and then next season you're going to bring somebody with experience that people respect. You know, once you got the money and the power to do what you got to do to go bring the higher level quality player to come play for the Dynamo. Okay, cool. But I'm still sitting here not knowing whether or not that's the case or not. And that, to me, as a fan and supporter, worries me. You know, it worries me because, you know, we've been on almost a decade long journey of the Dynamo sucking really bad. Not just sucking. They've sucked and sucked some more and like sucked until there's nothing left. And now obviously new people come in, new regime, new ownership. You know, they've kind of brought out the morale of the fan base a little bit. You know, we got new changes to the stadium. You know, we got a ruckus crowd. We got a big name signing. You know, a formidable DP number 9. You know, and things like that. And we're starting to see bits and pieces of sunshine peeking through, right? But man, but still, this we just got to get through this one more season. Okay, if at the end of the season it is what it is and he's out, great, cool. Let's sim all the way forward to October and let's get it over with. You know? But as I sit here right now, August 3rd, 2022, I don't know if that's the direction the front office is going to go, and that's what worries me.
I mean, look, you know, talking about the former regime, right? They were like a red light district prostitute. They would bend over for whoever was going to give them the biggest sticking at the time. Being truly honest, they were terrible. I mean, look, I'm putting it out there for what it is, right?
Sean,
I've been holding it, but waiting for that one.
Whoa. Hey,
it's a good thing we're not monetized because we would have just got demonetized. But seriously, though, look,
get out of here.
You all right?
I'm good. I missed you.
I'm exercising demons. Damn straight. Look, I'm frustrated, okay? Frustrated to no end. But here's the thing, and I like that other people have brought this up, right? If you wait until the offseason and then you end up getting rid of Paolo, then what are you doing? You have an offseason where you have no real direction. You're not going to have a coach right away. You're going to have a coaching search. You're going to take your time. You're going to find the right guy. So to answer Julio's earlier question, I got to scroll up, Julio, because I don't remember what your question was, but I'm going to find it. Give it just a second. Julio said, so for the Naga out constituents, what happens after he's gone? Well, that actually follows with another question that was asked by George. Who can you pick up right now? Just wait it out. The answer is you don't have to pick anybody up. And here's why. Because whomever you bring in for the end of this season, if you get rid of Paolo, is not the coach that you were intending to have long term. With that being said, no, we don't need HH player coach. Let him be a player until he's ready. If he wants to coach, okay, so be it. But here's the thing. Oh, we got 100 chat messages. Let's go. Anyways, you've already got a great coach. You've got a great coach in your system. A coach that's proved that he knows what he's doing. And is doing it well, and is doing it with the players that you realistically would rather have playing the game right now in Kenny Bundy. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because, oh, great, another youth coach. But again, I just said I'm not expecting a coach in mid-season that's going to be the next coach of the Dynamo. I'm expecting an interim coach that's going to be able to help this team exercise their demons and also is not going to be afraid to bring these youth players in and play them. A coach who instinctually, who takes the time to learn and understand his players like Mark just talked about and understand what their strengths are and their weaknesses. A coach who has a lot of similarity with
a Juan Carlos Moros in terms of understanding how you get the most out of every player, using their strengths to the best that they have. Look, Pat brought in LaFleur, great assigning at the 2 level that I've seen. I mean, kid's incredible. We've got Valdez playing goalkeeper, playing really well right now. We've got Juan. Last name starts with a J. Juarez. Juarez. That's who I'm thinking of. Juarez.
Yeah, Juan Juarez. Yeah, you're right.
It's Juarez though. Juarez. I mean, there's so many players at the youth level that deserve a look. And yes, I know Brooklyn Reigns, not a player you can look at for this season. Okay, that's fine. I get it. No worries. Papa Ndoye, not a player you can look at this season because he's technically would have to fill an international slot. And there are other players like that in Dos. I get that, but yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Just to go back, the thing about look, I don't care if Nagamura finishes the season. He can finish the season for all I care. It doesn't matter to me, right? I'm more concerned about next season, right? Like I'm in next season mode with the Dynamo already. Like I can care less what happens, if they sign somebody, if somebody leaves or whatever, and we'll get to somebody leaving here pretty soon because somebody apparently is leaving. But it's I don't care about that right now because regardless of what happens, I see nothing for this team this season. Honestly, I'm done as far as having a glimpse of hope of them making the playoffs or whatever it is, because it's just not the case. Why am I going to keep fooling myself? Why am I going to keep, thinking that something's going to happen when it's not? And, but with that being said, if the front office heads got together and just said, you know what, man, the fan base is being loud about it, and it's not, we got to get them out. Okay, cool. The reason why I wouldn't want Bundy there is because, like I said, he's doing a great job with Dynados, so I wouldn't want to stop that momentum. But at the same time, obviously he would, what if he came in and he had that great impact, whatever, and we had like a Wade Barrett situation where Bundy came in the last couple of games and they actually ended up winning like 3 out of the last 5 games or something like that. And then everybody's like, oh, well, Bundy, do you see Bundy this and that? But I'm like, nah.
No, here's the thing. You set the expectation with Bundy right out of the gate.
Well, yeah.
Bundy, look, the club just did this with Sarah Loudon.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But the thing is when you're given an opportunity, Sean, and we talked about this offline, when you're given an opportunity to do something at a higher position that you're not at currently, like overseeing your boss's job while he's gone or whatever, if that's a position that you see yourself in the future being in, while you have that opportunity to do it, you want to show out that you can and you know how to do it and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And you want to make sure that everybody knows you can do that, Granted, if obviously the Dynamo put it with the caveat, like, look, Bundy, we just need you to coach the team to the end of the season. After the season, you go back to your Dynados job, or you can become an assistant with the Dynamo, whatever, We'll let you choose, whatever, blah, blah. But at the same time, I see it. If I'm Bundy, I'm like, this is my opportunity.
Sure.
I'm going to show him because
I have no problem with that. Look, ultimately, if Bundy shows out and he gets pulled by another team at the end of the season because he was showing out and being the best coach that we could have ever hoped for in terms of that level, fine. That's fine. That's great for him. Yeah. That's not a bad thing for the club. But that is not the coach that I want long term. And I love Bundy to death. He is doing a hell of a job with Dynados. But at the same time, you can't sit here and be worried about those kinds of things. Look, that's a luxury if we get to that point and Bundy has showed out. Hey, look, at that point, we're going to be in the playoffs if he shows out as a coach. Realistically, we would be in the playoffs.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, I mean, obviously we can beat this horse to death, well, it's already a dead horse.
We got 6 months, bro.
We can keep beating it. We can keep beating it. But, obviously some news, I haven't had a chance to look it up because we're doing some show prep and doing some other stuff. And obviously, with Liz coming on, we have to get everything situated there. But obviously some news of a Dynamo player being on the move. Sean, do you want to let us know a little bit more about that? I don't know if you had a chance to look into it.
I'll confirm it for anybody who wants it confirmed. I'll confirm. I've heard the same thing. Tyler Pasher is being shopped around, so to speak. They're looking for a landing spot for him. There are some options. They're trying to work it out, but Tyler Pasher looks to be on his way out from the club very, very shortly within this window.
Yeah, man, and it's sad because man, I feel like Pasher ever since him coming back from his injury, he hasn't been given the opportunity to go out there and show out and show what he was able to do. Obviously he had a fairy tale start to his Dynamo career. Obviously we know we picked him up from the USL. I think it was Indy 11 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a great start to last season, man. And then obviously such a great start that the Canadian national team selected him to go to be on their Gold Cup squad. And he was a part of that too as well. And then unfortunately he got injured and he kept getting re-injured, and he was battling through that, and he just hasn't been able to steadily get back on the pitch. And obviously with Tab leaving, and then obviously Nagamura coming in, you have different philosophies and different outlooks of coaches. So now you got to win over a new coach, and apparently Pasher wasn't doing enough to win over Nagamura, and he preferred to have players like Memo on the wing and players like Corey Bird on the wing, and players of that nature on the wing. So I mean, I don't know what Pasher was doing out there, but Pasher will always have my love. I think he's a great player. He's obviously, every time he goes on there, he shows out and gives 110%. But we'll see, man. Whatever helps him for his career to long it and make it better for him. I know whoever does get him is going to get one hell of a player.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess the replacement for Pasher is Nelson Quinones.
Yeah, because people are saying Thor on the wing, but man, Thor is too big to be on the wing, man. He doesn't have the speed. He's a young guy right now, so that's why he has the stamina and stuff like that. But Thor is more of a forward, man. He's a 9. He's a 9. He's not a winger. I don't think that's his preferred position, but he plays it because it gets him on the pitch.
Let me ask you a legitimate question. It's something I just now have been thinking about and been wondering. Would you
an illegitimate question?
A legitimate, not illegitimate. Okay. We ain't talking about your kids. Woo, I went there. No, I'm just kidding. Tell your wife I love her. She's awesome. But if a team came asking you about the potential to trade for Thor, would you take that trade to get allocation money to go look for a player in a different position?
Well, I mean, it would have to be a nice sum, nice chunk of change. I mean, throw me a number, because he's a top 3 pick. He's young. He's already on the national team for Iceland. So I mean, he's out there doing good things. Throw me a number.
Yeah. I don't have a number. I don't know what his value should be, but
George says $500,000.
I think he's talking about Pash.
Oh, Pash. Oh, okay. Shit. Well, let's say $500,000. Let's just say $500,000, right?
Thor is Jan Adidas.
And he's Generation Adidas, so he doesn't count towards my salary. So shit, even $500,000 might not be enough, because you got a player who's producing. He's young, and he's not going to count towards your cap because of his Generation Adidas stature, and that's for 3 years. So
unless you're planning to play him long term at wing, or you're planning to switch to a 2-forward formation, you are not getting the most out of Thor, or you're not getting the most out of Sebas.
You're not. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Because so like we're happy because we finally got a productive DP number 9, and I think Sebas can do great for the Dynamo, so long as he can get somebody to feed him the fucking ball, right? And then you get this kid in the first round, top 3 pick, and Thor, who obviously we all fell in love with because of the nickname and stuff like that. And then go figure, the kid has cojones, and he goes out there and he plays, and he wants to score every time he's out there, and he wants to do the damn thing, and he's out there doing the damn thing. So, shout out to him. So now we have a bit of a luxury, which is good, because the Dynamo don't have too many nice things. And why, as a coach, wouldn't you put two players who are out there wanting to score the ball out there at the same time and put them in positions of them to succeed? Like you said, we have fullbacks and Lundy and Seca who enjoy being on the offensive side. So why not do a 5-3-2? I mean, I'm sorry, a 3-5-2.
It's the
formation.
It's the same thing. 5-3-2 on defense, 3-5-2 on offense. It's
whatever. So I mean, but like,
I'm just letting you know you're not wrong. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. But like, why not do something like that? So that way, now you have better crossing because I think Seka is one of our better crossers. And now you have both Thor and Sebas playing off of each other instead of Thor having to come in from the wide wing, having to go against center backs and things like that when he doesn't have electric speed. If you can somehow mesh Fafa and Thor and you can give Fafa speed to Thor, then yeah, that'd be great. But you can't. So I mean, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. And Thor is best inside the box, as is Sebas. So have them both in there.
Yeah, so back to the Pasher thing. Insider reported it earlier as well I think it was on Instagram. Nope, it looks like that was Twitter, but he reported it earlier. Something to consider, something I looked up when I kind of heard about it and was confirming it, but Pasher does not take up an international slot, so even if you trade Pasher to another team and you get money, unless you get an international slot coming back, you still have to trade players to get international slots or buy them from a team, I guess, using allocation money. Again, I get why that's probably happening. I understand it. It's probably more Pasher's desire not to be here anymore, to be honest. I think this has probably been coming for a while. His play has probably shown that out a little bit, to be honest, but
I mean, Sean, I'm gonna interrupt you here real quick.
You're good.
Think about it, dude. His national team had him on the Gold Cup squad, and he played. He played for that Gold Cup squad. That his national team just qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 30 some odd years. You don't think he wants to be a part of that? Like,
yeah.
Dude, and I'm not getting an opportunity here. I'm on my phone with my agent, like, dude.
He's got to get playing time. He's got to get playing time before Canada's World Cup starts. And he's not getting it here. So I could absolutely understand why he doesn't want to be here.
For sure. I mean, dude, sometimes as players, you have to be a tad bit selfish. And especially in this season where you play for a country that normally doesn't participate in the World Cup and you've already played for that national team and they think highly of you. Like, dude, you have to go out there and get minutes somewhere, and you have to go out there and have tape so that way the national team coach can see whether or not he brings you on. Because a World Cup experience is you don't know how many times you're going to get that opportunity. Unless you're playing for Argentina, Brazil, or France or something like that. But you're playing for Canada. You're getting this opportunity, and then obviously the automatic bid, in 2026. But shit, you don't know what he might get injured. Something might happen between now and then. This is a prime opportunity for him to be a part of his national team, the first national team to be a part of a World Cup in 30 some odd years. You don't think he wants to be a part of that?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. 100% yes. So yeah, Pasher on the way out. There were obviously rumors about Fafa previously, although those have been quelled over time with some working out between individuals and Fafa, individuals within the front office and staff.
I'm sorry, and on the chat, Kenny says I don't think it was Canada's A team, and yeah, we understand that, but still, but he's on the radar. If he would have had opportunity with the Dynamo, if he was a 10 goal, 8 assist player right now for the Dynamo, you damn Skip, I'm sorry, I never used that word before. You for fucking sakes, best believe the national team coach has eyes on Pasher and is going to probably bring him in for friendlies or whatever prior to the World Cup because he's out there performing for his team. So it doesn't matter if you're a B team player for the national team, A team player, whatever. If you're on that radar, you're on that cusp. You as a player are motivated to make sure that you're continuing to be seen. Keep showing tape. Keep having highlights on there. So you make it known to your national team coach and national team staff that you want to be a part of this.
Yeah. So, like I said, Fafa, obviously, wanted out. Quintero's been discontented multiple times over the last couple of seasons. Memo continues to be one of our players we just trot out there every week because he's Memo. I still don't get that one. I for the life of me, I can't figure out Memo starting or even subbing on at this point. I don't even see him being valuable as a sub. You
told me you saw him for $1 million on FIFA, man.
Come on, 1.1 million, 1.3 million. I don't remember exactly. It was something over $1 million, though. I remember that.
We can't get that in real life.
Who was watching the stream last week? Somebody chime in with how much I sold him for. Y'all remember? I don't remember. But I mean, yeah, there's value to be had in these players. I know that to us, they don't have any value right now, which is really a testament to the state of the team, right? And the quality of this current built out team in its current form is that we don't view these players as having any value whatsoever. But there are, as much as we don't think other teams would want these players, I guarantee you other teams would at least consider it, for even minuscule amounts of allocation money, or another player that's not even playing for that team, that's deep on their bench, whatever it is. That there's opportunity. It falls to Pat to make those opportunities into reality. We are hamstrung a lot by our limited amount of international slots. And, let's be fair, 2 or 3 of our international guys have played really well, but it's not panning out beyond that. Our domestic players might as well not even be on the damn pitch, it feels like at times. And that's a sad state of affairs that you rely on those guys.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's man, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like we just keep going round and round in circles with the same thing, and it just sometimes it's. I think we're going insane, Sean. We're trying and we're hoping, and like I said, a part of being a fan and supporter is having hope and having faith in that the squad is doing everything they can to go in the right direction and do the right things and and get results at the end of the day. But shit, man, it's been tough. It's been tough, man. It's been tough. It's been tough. And with that being said, I mean, so poll question of the day.
Yeah, I'm about to ask you about that.
Yeah, yeah. I know it came out a little late, but better late than never. So with let me find it here. The transfers in MLS are heating up. And we've seen the names thrown out there. We've seen the rumors. We've seen the teams involved. It's crazy. It's mayhem. Do the Dynamo need to continue adding this current window? Yes, always, or no, wait for the winner. 57 votes. 68% of you say yes, always. 32% of you say no, wait for the winner. So basically 2/3 keep saying yes, keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. Sean, look, I mean, obviously I don't know the financial standings as far as the GAM and TAM allocations, all this other bullshit that's got that MLS has going, and for the Dynamo, right? And sometimes you could be like, yeah, man, obviously, I want to add a player like Neymar. Yes, it's an opportunity like that comes. Yes,
you go ahead. Isco and Mertens are currently unemployed.
Yeah, okay. Isco and Mertens, there you go. That's a winger and a forward, right? And two highly talented guys.
Give them a percentage of the team. Surely that's going to be enough to lure them here.
And the thing is, okay, you throw those 2 names out. Duh. Obviously, you bring in Isco and Mertens, your team profile not only increases around the world, but your quality of play increases as well. And with those 2 type of players, along with Herrera and along with with Coco and Sebas, you might actually have a chance to actually make a playoff to get one of the lower seeds. And then once you get in the playoffs, you might make some noise. Who knows? But are those type of players coming through the door of PNC? No. So with that being said, do I want to continue wasting my resources the little bit of resources that I have currently on players that are just like whatevs? Just to bring somebody in, just to have the Dynamo fan base talking about something, or do I just hunker down, let the season run out. Like I said, if we could sim to the end of October to the beginning of October, that'd be great. But unfortunately, this isn't FIFA. And just wait for the winter transfer window. Once all these contracts fall off, once all these options fall down, once we regroup our allocation money and our GAM and TAM, and then all this other stuff. Once I have that big pile of money and whatever other mechanisms that MLS allows me to have, why not just do it all in that window? George says that's a losing system, or I don't know if he's talking about.
He's talking to Paolo's system doesn't include a 10.
Oh, okay.
And that's a losing system. And my response to that is Paolo is more married to the 4-3-3 than Tab was.
Yeah. Every MLS team that competes for the MLS Cups has a proven number 10. So
here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying the 2023 team is going to look very different. We're going to have a lot more flexibility, a lot more cap space.
But how different?
Absolutely 100% yes, right? It doesn't matter how different your players are. There's still going to be this mentality of, well, yeah, we're halfway through the season and the team still sucks. It doesn't matter because Paolo needs more time with the team for them to understand, new players for them to understand his system. Yeah. Look, there's always excuses. Always excuses. Every time. And this has been a Dynamo tradition. There's always been excuses since Brenner took over. AEG.
Wrestling now?
Wednesday night is AEW Dynamite on TBS, by the way. If you don't tune in, you should. But AEG, sorry, George. George knows. AEG, when AEG was here, it was always, well, it's AEG. We're the redheaded stepchild because they co-own LA Galaxy, and that's their bigger team. The second part, oh, dude, you're not wrong. Let's go. It was AEG, then it was Brenner, then it was Owen Coyle, then it was Wilmer Cabrera, then it was Matt Jordan, then it was Tab Ramos, then it was Matt Jordan again.
But look, this is a solution right here. I'm gonna give it to you plain and simple.
Matt Miazga is moving to FC Cincinnati. He's gonna partner up in the back line with Jeff Cameron.
That's a Premier League duel right there. Now, anyways,
wow,
dude, look. This is the thing. I don't care how many young South Americans you buy that I don't know anything about because they come from X club that nobody's ever heard of, or the B team of that big club, whatever. Like in Thiago's case or whatever. Like that's great, cool. Buy players like that, build them up. Make them better players, and then sell them off. Right. That's the plan, right? But we can't do that. We don't know how to do that. We're not in that level. We're not in that position. So what we need to do? We need to get established players that know how to fucking play the game of soccer.
Oh, Mark. I'm feeling that heat. Let's go.
Like we need players that understand that if you're a winger, your area is here. If you're a 8, your area is here. Players who are going to be there when the ball gets passed and you're not looking like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why weren't you in your spot? We need players that understand the game of football. And we can't spend too much time picking up 21-year-old Colombians or 22-year-old Argentines or 18-year-old Brazilians when in reality, we're just picking up nationalities. That's all we're doing. We're just limiting ourselves because we can't use international slots now because we don't have them because we're using it on these kids. They're not doing anything for us.
Later, Julio.
So, I mean, it's a shame because, like I said, look, I'm always for bringing in young talent and building them up and then obviously moving them along. But we're not in that position right now. We don't do that. We don't build. We don't progress. We're not that team. Okay. So we need to bring in players who are already there, who already have an understanding and can do that without the need of a coach per se, because, obviously we still need a coach, but, things like that. So yeah, I'm tired of using my international slots on Thiago, Mohamed.
Look, here's the difference, right? Between here's the difference between us and the top tier teams. When a top tier team makes a mistake and the front office, knows they've made a mistake, they immediately remedy that mistake. And I'm not saying that mistake is necessarily Paulo Nagamura. It is, but that's not the only mistake. The mistake was Thiago. The front office remedied that by loaning him out so that he's not with the senior team anymore. But there are other players that they've brought in since then that are not working out. You can't hold on to those players on the idea that maybe they'll eventually pan out or figure it out. Look, your coach has proven he can't get the most out of the player. You've got to move on from that player. Players like Memo Rodriguez, you know you're ceiling with him right now. Look, you've had this player in your system for 7+ damn years. At some point, you know he's only what he is. He's not going to be more than that.
And to go back to what Rob is saying, Asher wants to buy cheap South Americans and sell them off for big profit. Yes, every club in the world wants to do that. Sure. Look, sure. And trust me,
Premier League teams do it too.
Yeah. Look at our history. This is why it was so difficult for Matt Jordan in the front office to sell Albert Elise and Mauro Manotas, because they were so surprised they hit on those two players. And the way those players are producing, that they were actually getting $10 million transfers for offers for these guys,
and they couldn't move them because they had nobody else to replace them with.
Exactly, they were so scared of moving these players on because they had nobody to replace them, because they knew that the level of the team will fall so dramatically after you lose these players that he was willing to take the fattest L and sell those two players, for a combined $4 or $5 million. That's crazy.
George brought it up earlier, he inadvertently brought this exact thing up, but he said, the reason you can't move Paulo right now or get rid of Paulo right now is because if you get rid of Paulo, you have effectively said the season is over. I mean, let's be real, the season's over either way.
The season's been over.
But from a hype standpoint, the club wants to keep that hype going. Look, the hype is gone. You lose 6-0 on the road. That hype is...
Dude, the Hector Herrera era is 1 win, 1 tie, 4 losses.
And a 6-0 loss at that. And look, that's not a knock on Hector Herrera. He is a fantastic player.
It's not. But what I'm saying is, if we're talking about the hype, and that was what the hype was, the Hector Herrera era, it's not off to a good start at all. The month of July has been shit, and we put a fucking stamp on it, losing 6-0 against the Union.
Yeah. And look, players like a Nelson Quinones, he could turn out to be fantastic. He could turn out to be another Albert Elise. I'm not putting my money on it. Your chances are very unlikely that that's the case. But he's just a single player at the wing. Look, we can talk all we want, but the fact is this defense is so bad. So unbelievably pitiful. I don't even have words to describe how bad it's been. And to have heard Pat say 4 weeks ago on Glenn's show the exact words of, well, we're actually pretty happy and satisfied with the defense. We feel like they've improved tremendously, and we're content with what we have. I'm just like, all right, Pat, I got questions now. I got real questions now.
See, look, man, I'm going to say this, and it's going to kind of hurt me to say this, but I mean, it has to be said. Let me see how I want to phrase this, because it's a little hard. The thing about it is, Quinones, all these players they're coming in, all these young players, you hope that these players grow and they become players for us and they can provide. But like I mentioned, dude, like it's not happening for us. It's not happening for us at all. Like at all. Like we're like 0 for 7, with our last young South American players, and it's ridiculous, because for as much as we want to get hyped because of the sign, think about it, dude. We got excited over the weekend because there was rumors of us signing a number 10 Argentine from Independiente for $500,000 on loan, whatever, and his value is like $1 million or some bullshit like that, right? Frisco is spending $10 million on a true number 10 Argentine who's playing for the Argentine national team. Might be the B team, but he's on the senior national team for Argentina, and Alan Velasco, and he's doing the damn thing in the league.
Hey, but Mark, real quick, hold on, real quick. Even if we sign that number 10 and put him on loan, it ain't gonna matter because Paulo's not gonna play him anyways because he doesn't fit his system.
Exactly. So, but still, you see what we're failing to see what we're competing with here. These clubs that are competing, and more so these clubs that are not even competing, like the Atlanta's, FC Cincinnati, they're bringing in players, they're spending transfer money, but these clubs are paying money. They're paying money to get these players in. And if they're not paying them transfer fees, their salaries are up there. They're top 20 salaries. When is the Dynamo going to understand that you got to spend money? You're going to have to spend money.
And they spent a lot to bring Hector Herrera in. They spent a lot to bring in Sebas Ferreira, but that's 2 players out of 28 players that you ultimately need to bring in, in terms of your depth in your roster.
But look at a team like Seattle Sounders, right? Seattle Sounders doesn't have the big splash. I mean, they have known players, but they don't have the big splash, right? But look how evenly par all those players are, from DP to your high 10 players to your U22 players that they have on there. You talk about your a couple DPs like Ladero and Rui Diaz. You talk about high 10 players like Rondon and what's the other guy's name? Joe Pedro, or he might be a DP too. Like all these players, they complement each other.
Yep.
Nobody compliments anybody here on this pitch. Nobody. Like there's no Herrera to Coco to Sebas. That connection doesn't exist right now because Sebas first is not getting on the pitch. When Sebas gets on the pitch, you're subbing out Coco. And so I mean, like there's no connection. There's nothing there.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, Kenny, it's been a struggle for the Dynamo for a very long time. One season of bringing in, hiring a full-time scout and having a scouting director was not going to change that. Especially not halfway through the season. They need at least 6 months to really get. They do, as scouts do, to set up a network to let people know that they're looking and trying to find the right guys. But here's my thing, right? What is it gonna take for the Dynamo front office to finally just admit this team is in rebuilding? We need to not be, the fans need to be aware that we're not going to be competitive for the next 3 seasons. We know we're not going to be competitive for the next 3 seasons. We've brought in Hector Herrera as a stopgap just to make people happy. But the fact is that by the time his contract is up, we may finally have the players to play and be competitive in the league. But this team is not going to be a top 10, top 12, top 18 team in the league, top 24 team in the league for the next 3 seasons. I mean, legitimately, I don't care how great the overhaul is in the offseason. You cannot overhaul 28 damn roster slots in one offseason. No. And the ones that we've brought in have not been good enough overall.
No. And it's a tough reality that we live in, and like I said, it not only do you have to hit on the players that you go out and scout yourself personally, but you also have to hit on those that come out of nowhere.
When are we going to adopt the Astros approach or the Rockets approach where, and it's not tanking. I don't want to hear this talk about tanking or anything like that. Look, they weren't losing because they wanted these high draft picks or anything like that. It was the fact that they knew that they had to clear out all of the cruff from the previous regime so that they could start fresh. The Rockets did it. The Astros have done it. And you're starting to see that both the Astros obviously have turned that corner well before now. But, the Rockets are a great example. They're in the process of turning that corner. And you look at the core that they've built. It is a young freaking core. It is a core that is going to be with that team for a good amount of time. As long as they want to keep them around. We don't see that with the Dynamo. I don't see that happening this offseason with the Dynamo.
And evidence says that Dynados is one of the top clubs in MLS Next. Yes, that's awesome and that's great. But let's be honest, how many of those Dynados players are you actually expecting to see on the pitch for the first team next season? And let's say some of them make it. How many of those are going to be true contributors? Because you have Beto Avila, hasn't done anything, Thor started off a little back and forth. He's kind of gone, but I don't really count him because he's kind of started with the first team already. But, Bartlow, he had a couple great showings, but then vanished, What's the other kid's name? Can't escape me, but like I said, you've had a couple kids come up, but they haven't provided anything. Yeah, I mean, obviously they're doing great things right now for Dynados, and that competition level down there is a little lower than what it is in MLS. But how many of those kids do you really expect to be real contributors next season? Brooklyn Reigns, okay, yeah. Juan Casillas, it's a maybe. But after that, like who? Like, you know, what are we talking about? You know, honestly. And that's the reality that we live in, because, you know, we basically, for us to be competitive next season, we need like these Dynados players. We need to have like an 80% hit rate on those Dynados players, on top of hitting on the DP spot, on top of bringing in quality players that fit our system, whatever system that may be, for whatever coach is in on the seat at that time, to come in and understand, you know, what their position is and what we need them to do. It's a lot of ask that you're asking for, and a lot of things that you're expecting, and you can't get all that in one offseason or one transfer window, and it's really, really tough to do it unless you just have the money to back it and the freedom to do it. And we don't in MLS. We don't have the freedom to just go sign top class players at every position. We don't have that.
I don't have.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't have. Look, I'm about to give as much effort as the Dynamo gave on Saturday. I'm about to just end the stream. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. We still got 10 minutes. But I mean, honestly, I just sit here and, you know, we've hashed out a lot of stuff over the last number of weeks, you and I, and also during the FIFA streams. But it just feels like at this point, this team has no real direction. This team has no real vision. I know Pat has an idea of what he wants to do, and I'm sure he's going to begin that process in the offseason. And he was really, you know, hands were really tied, you know, last offseason, in the early part of this season, and even right now in terms of what he can do because of the previous regime. I get that, but I feel like if that was always the case, that should have been a known quantity. This should not be a new, you know, a thing that became newly known. You know, that was never an unknown. That was certainly a known. And putting the expectation that you are, and to be fair, I guess they always were striving for playoffs.
But look, Sean, good thing you mentioned that. Think of Pat Onstad's Columbus Crew team, right? What they had to do to assemble that team that won MLS Cup. They brought in a highly talented number 10 and Lucas Celerian.
Yeah.
They broke the record back then. I think it's been broken a couple of times now, to get a CDM in Darlington Nagbe.
Yep.
You know,
they already had Federico Higuain.
They already have Federico Higuain. They made a big trade with LA Galaxy to get what's his name, Zardes.
Yeah.
You know,
they had Ola Kamara though, to be fair.
Yeah, but still, you know, like, these are players that have an understanding, that know how to play. Even though we kind of crap on Zardes for the national team player that he is, but as an MLS player, he's been a double-digit goal scorer. You know, like if you tell me to bet whether or not between 2015 and 2019, if Zardes can score 10 goals, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll put down any kind of bet that he's going to score 10 goals in any given season. You know, when was the last time the Dynamo had a 10 goal scorer? Mauro Manotas.
Yeah.
Before COVID, 10 goals out of a 36 game season, like 10 goals. We can't get one player to score 10 goals. Sean, like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's mayhem.
Hey, this ain't an AEW promo. Hold it down over there, buddy. Hold it down. You know, I'm at the point where there's only one logical reality for me, you know, moving forward. There's only one logical conclusion moving forward, and that is genuinely, and I said it a few minutes ago, this team's got to suck for a while. You know, and if this team's got to suck for a while, so be it. I would much rather let's be in the Astros mode where, you know what, we're going to suck like hell for 3 years, and we're going to tell you flat out, we're going to suck like hell for 3 years. We're going to let you know that that's going to be the case. But coming out of that 3 years, we're going to tell you the expectation is we're going to be a lot better. And I'm okay with that. I want to do that. Let's do it.
I enjoy buying dollar tickets for the Astros when they were losing 100.
Give me them 7. Look, every night needs to be 7-1-3 night for Dynamo right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Give me them $1 hot dogs that have been sitting on that warmer plate for 45 damn minutes.
Every game starting from in August all the way to the end should be a $7 ticket. Just do it.
Yeah.
What are you losing?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly very concerned to see what the turnout is going to be after the team gets back from Vancouver.
Yeah.
PNC is going to be a ghost town again.
Yeah, I mean, they continue to do their watch parties at Pitch 25, the team. Obviously, a lot of people are there at Pitch 25 for other reasons, so it looks crowded. It might not be crowded for the Dynamo, but it looks crowded. I think the Surge is doing a watch party at Phoenix on Friday night.
Yep.
So, I mean, people are still trying to go out there and support. It's getting harder. It's getting a little harder every time it goes by, every week that goes by. But, but we're still out there. We're still, obviously trying to hold it down and keep it going for H-Town.
And remember, if you are this frustrated with the Dynamo, there is still always the wonderful, amazing, God bless them Dash, who are absolutely balling out right now.
Yes, sir.
They should be pulling. Look, the Dash should be pulling 10 to 15K in that stadium every night that they play, with the way that the team is playing right now.
That's hope, man. And look, I'm calling it now, man. I hope I don't jinx them, and I hope I don't, But I'm thinking this is the year we're gonna make the playoffs finally.
I'm knocking on wood for you, just in case.
Yeah, and I want to see that first Dash home playoff game just be crazy.
Yeah. I want to see. Look, I mean, realistically, in all seriousness, if the Dynamo continue to suck as bad as they are, and the Dash do make playoffs and get that first home playoff match, you have to think that should be a near sellout. Genuinely a near sellout. There is enough love of soccer in this city for that to be a near sellout.
We need to They need to start flipping the marketing onto the ladies a little bit more and start promoting that. Start promoting playoff push.
I think only the top. They might make it the top 6. No, I think it's still just the top 4 make playoffs. It's not a lot of teams in the NWSL like it is in MLS.
I think it's 12 teams?
Yeah, no, there's not 12 teams. 11.
Yeah, because the Angel FC.
I think they were 11th. I don't think they were 12. Oh, San Diego was 12.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. San Diego and I think like Gotham.
No, Gotham they were already part of it as Western New York Flash.
Oh yeah, right.
I think it is 12 though, because of San Diego and Angel City FC.
Well, regardless of whatever the situation is, we're back in the Dash, and we hope to make the playoffs for the season.
Yeah,
we need some brightness in Houston.
For sure. Well, guys, it is that time. I hope that you've all gotten a lot off your chest, because I know it's weighed heavily on me, and I know it's weighed heavily on a lot of y'all as well. It's been a long last couple of weeks, and it's continuing to be a longer season as the summer gets further and further, deeper and deeper. Hopefully we see some, hotter and hotter too. Hopefully we see some movement. Hopefully we see something really positive come of the Tyler Pasher trade once it is made official. Hopefully we see some other players being traded while there's still value, because if you let all of those players walk, you've just gotten zero value in return. But with that said, guys, hey, thanks for joining us on the show. Thank you again, Harry, for subscribing. We certainly do appreciate it. If you're still watching, shout out to you, sir. Thanks for the follow, Chandler. We appreciate it as always. And everybody, it's been fun. It's nice to have Mark back. Hopefully we can do this again next week.
And shout out to Liz for showing up.
Huge shout out to Liz. Again, go hit up her socials. Mark will make sure to tweet those out later, because that's what Mark does. Guys, thanks for joining us as always, and keep on holding it down. 2 H's for H. He's here. 2 H's.